What's up, guys? Welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ChoosingBeggars.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.
This story's called Choosing Beggar You Steal. It was super effective. I don't know if this is a choosing beggar or an entitled kid, but while cleaning out boxes of stuff from high school, I was reminded of it and thought I would share. When I was in high school, about 20 plus years ago, anime, especially Pokemon and Digimon, were super popular. Everyone watched some kind of show at TV, and my school principal even greenlit a Pokemon card club and anime club so people could meet and play and watch shows and get credit for being in a school club. The head of the anime club was, emphasis on was, a great friend of mine. Let's call her Hiken, if not a little obsessed with anime in Japan. She had started taking art classes and was teaching herself Japanese so she could move to Japan after high school and work for Studio Ghibli. In regards to her life outside the club, she was part of a secret society that traded VHS tapes of anime shows from Japan with no subtitles or dubs. If someone asked to borrow a video, she would personally inspect VHS and DVD players at friends' houses to ensure they would not ruin her collection. If the device did not meet her expectations, you would have to rent her device for $10 a day in addition to $5 per requested episode of the series you wanted to watch. It was not uncommon to see her handing over VHS tapes and DVDs to people at school and getting handed back a wad of cash. In regards to the club, she was very strict on who could and could not join, requiring applicants to take and pass a 200-question test about a wide range of anime shows and movies in order to be admitted. The questions ranged from who was the original voice for Chi-Chi in the Dragon Ball movie The Tree of Life, to what are the 9 things ABC censored out of Season 6 of Sailor Moon in order from their appearance in the anime. Needless to say, only the die-hard anime fans got in, and everyone else was declared a fake fan. Needless to say, I never borrowed videos or got into the club, but every time the club went somewhere, like to a conversation or a movie, all of Hiken's friends from outside the club would get invited, but not because she wanted us there to have fun. It was so she could leech off of them. She would somehow manage to convince people to buy her food, clothes, expensive videos imported from overseas, and even toys and games. This is the story of the one and only time she got me. Our local movie theater was holding a huge event for the opening day of Pokemon the movie. There were raffles, costume competitions, and even a quiz show where you could win prizes, mostly free popcorn and soda for the movie, scheduled for after the movie. The Poke Package, which was a movie ticket, small popcorn, small soda, a tiny toy Mewtwo, and 1 entry into the raffle, plus access to all the other events, was $6. God, I miss the 90s. Hiken came up with a plan. We would see the noon showing of the movie and then have a late lunch at a nearby hibachi and then go to her place to watch more anime. As I did not have a job, my mom gave me $20 for the movie and lunch and expected change back. The group that went consisted of Hiken, her boyfriend, the anime club, about 4 people thanks to Hiken's test, our friend Sakura, not real name, and my best friend and brother from another mother, Hiro, also not real name. When we got in line for tickets, Hiken turned to me and said, "We're running late. The movie starts in 30 minutes. Since you have a 20, can you just buy the tickets for me and my boyfriend?" I said, "The 20 is all I have. It's supposed to cover the movie and lunch. I can't buy your ticket." Hiken rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on. It's gonna take so much longer if we all buy our tickets. Just buy our tickets so we can get inside." "No, I have to give my mom change at the end of this." Hiken stomped her foot. "We'll pay you back. Just buy the tickets. Hurry, we're gonna miss the movie." By this point, it was my turn to buy my ticket, but before I could say anything, Hiken took the $20 out of my hand, pushed it in front of me and said, "3 for Pokemon." She pocketed the $2 in change and handed me my ticket and raffle ticket and went inside with her boyfriend. Confused, I stood to the side, dumbstruck until Hiro and Sakura got their tickets, then I followed them inside. We got in just in time to see Hiken buy a large popcorn with my change and run to the theater with the anime club. For a high schooler in the midst of the Pokemon craze, the movie was great, and since the anime club monopolized the best row in the theater for themselves, Hiken shooed away anyone who tried to sit in the row by screaming, "This row is reserved for real Pokemon fans!" I got to sit with Hiro and Sakura a few rows down. When the movie was over, we all went to the event area in the lobby. Everyone got their toy Mewtwo, a small plastic Pokeball with something inside, a coupon for a small soda or popcorn, and waited for the raffle. No one in our group won the raffle, which was a small duffel bag filled with Pokemon stuff, t-shirts, trading cards, cards for the card game, and a plush Pikachu. And it was mildly funny to watch Hiken and the other winner scream at each other over who was the bigger fan when she went up and demanded he give her the bag. She didn't get it, thankfully, and we all left for the hibachi. As we exited the theater, I turned to Hiken and I said, "Can I have my $14, please?" She stopped dead in her tracks. Realizing their club president had stopped, the club members and her boyfriend stopped too, as did my two friends. Hiking turned to me and, in the most toxic tone I have ever heard, said, "What did you say?" I repeated, a bit confused, "Can I have my change back, please?" "What change?" she hissed. The $2 you took after using my $20 to buy our tickets?" "That wasn't your money, that was my money. My mom gave it to me to watch the movie." I was dumbfounded. "No, it was mine. You took it out of my hands. You said you would pay me back, then you took my change." "Wow, OP, I never thought you would be the kind of person to try and steal money from a friend." Hiking said this as loud as she could without shouting. I panicked. At this point, what others thought of me was still important to me, and I had been the subject of some nasty rumors before, so I feared another one starting. That was when Hero became my hero. "No," he said. "I saw the whole thing. You stole OP's money to pay for your ticket. You owe her $14. Now." "She didn't have any money," Hiking snarled. "I had to pay for her ticket because she forgot to bring any." "No, she didn't," Sakura said. "You took her money." "Even if I did, which is a lie, I don't have any money on me to give her except the money for the hibachi." "So that means you came to the movie with only enough money to buy yourself food after it," Hiro said, looking over at the anime club members. "How are you gonna get in?" "Unlike some people," Hiken snapped, looking at me. "I brought the exact amount I would need for the hibachi and film and have already spent the ticket money on my ticket." "But you just said you bought OP's ticket because she didn't have any money. If you brought exact change for the ticket and hibachi, how are you able to buy her ticket?" It was at this point that Hiking just flipped her hair and said, "Whatever. Come on, let's go eat." I started crying and said I had no money for the hibachi because she took it from me and I couldn't go now. Hiking shrugged and said, "Whatever," and kept walking. To my surprise, the anime club did not follow. Only her boyfriend did. When Hiking noticed her club wasn't coming, she turned and demanded an explanation. They said it was late and they wanted to go home. She just shrugged, said, "Whatever," and kept walking with her boyfriend in tow. I sat down on the curb and started to sob. Now, this was back when cell phones were expensive and no one under the age of 20 really had one. My mom had given me hers so I could call after lunch was over and she could come pick me up. I had no intention of going to Hiking's to watch anime after lunch. Hiro pulled that out of my bag, called my mom, and explained what happened. The anime club walked off to a nearby comic shop after sheepishly saying goodbye. My mom arrived about 20 minutes later and took me, Hiro, and Sakura back to my house, where we had sandwiches for lunch, played Halo with my brother until dinner time. Then my mom ordered pizza for everyone and took Hiro and Sakura back home when we were done. The next day, my mom called Hiking's mom and explained what happened at the movie. Hiking's mom was not surprised and very apoplectic. She said she would talk to Hiking about it and she would have her return the $14 to me at school. The next day, Hiking handed me a used Sailor Moon drawing board and said, "Here, it's worth $24 on eBay, so you owe me $10. For those who don't know, a drawing board is a hard, flat board with a small pillow at the bottom so you can rest comfortably against your knees and draw anywhere. In Japan, at the time, and might still be, anime-themed drawing boards were sold with pencils, erasers, special paper, and a small toy. The cheapest set I ever saw was $75. Shipping was included in price. The one Hiking was handing me was bent, had deep grooves etched everywhere, and the image was faded. She expected that to be my payback. "I'm sorry, Hiking," I said, "but my mom told me to bring back $14, not an item worth $14. "Well, that's your problem," Hiking snorted. "This is all I have and you better take it because I'm not giving you free money." I did not take it and slowly worked Hiking out of my friend circle. Shortly after this, the anime was voted to kick Hiking out of the club and get rid of the test. The club size tripled in a week after this. Hiking later got a job at a nearby video store where she bullied and harassed management into carrying more anime and Japanese films. For a few years, that store became known for its collection of foreign imports, and Hiking was eventually promoted to store manager, and she would only hire people who could pass the anime club test. Once the store went corporate, though, that store was audited and found to be below standards. The employees and regional manager threw Hiking under the bus, and she was fired for, among other things, harassment and theft. She would order a series or movie she wanted to see for the store, take it home when it arrived, watch it, reseal it, and put it on the shelf as brand new. I don't know what happened to her after that. Last I heard, she was still living with her folks, had a part-time job at a local supermarket, and had never even tried to get into college, let alone visit Japan. I hate elitists, man, of any kind. Especially people that shame others for not watching anime in Japanese. While I agree that a lot of Japanese voice acting is a lot better than American voice acting because, I don't know, just the delivery and the dialogue, it just kind of gets lost in translation, but that's not me saying that American voice acting sucks in anime. Okay, I definitely prefer the English dubs of several shows, especially Dragon Ball, obviously. Anyway, that girl, that's just a garbage person. No way around it, just garbage. This story's called, "My neighbor thinks she can walk in my house and help herself to my dinner or anything else she wants." Updated. Please note, I was young when this happened and I have learned to not get walked on or allow this type of behavior. This story happened many years ago. While we were in the military, we moved frequently, and at one base in particular, we lived in condo-style houses. Lines of homes that have one or two walls that are connected to each other. I mention the type of house because it shows how close we were to our neighbors. We did have our own driveways, but they were for single cars and were right next to our neighbors. This space was in a warm location where we should have had air conditioning, but we did not. We were enlisted and lived in older houses, and only newer enlisted or officer housing had AC. The reason I mentioned this is because I would leave my front door open and just have the screen door closed so we could get crosswind to cool the house. This should not have been a big deal, right? Wrong. Our neighbor that was connected to our left liked to come over and borrow things. Our neighbor, or choosing beggar, will be referred to as choosing beggar moving forward. She would come over and at the beginning, she would knock and she would ask for things such as a cup of sugar or milk. Then as time progressed, choosing beggar would knock and just walk in, and at this point, she still asked for stuff. To be honest, this didn't really bother me too bad because it wasn't too frequent, and then all of a sudden, it changed, and choosing beggar stopped knocking altogether and began just walking in. I did say something, keeping it light, in hopes that it would work. I knew we were going to be neighbors for a while, and it could be bad to have a bad relationship between neighbors. Back then, I had a lot of anxiety about having negative interactions with people. The choosing beggar became pregnant, and her entitlement all of a sudden knew no bounds. Choosing beggar would not only walk into my house, she would go into my fridge or freezer and grab whatever she wanted. This one time I was making dinner, and she walked over, smelled it, grabbed a plate, and served herself. I said something to the effect of, "I'm making that for my husband," and choosing beggar responded that she's only taking a little and there will be plenty for him. That was it. I was mad. After that, I tried locking my screen door, but the cheap lock wouldn't hold. Choosing beggar was able to pull the door open and eventually snapped the lock off. I finally said screw it and started shutting my actual door, which sucked because it was hot and no AC. But it was better than dealing with her every day. I thought that would work, but she started going through our back door and coming through our screen door. Oh, did I mention her husband was like 3 ranks higher than mine? And she was seriously taking from us when they could afford way more. Anyway, this went on while choosing beggar was pregnant. Finally, after choosing beggar had her baby, choosing beggar started asking for even more. She wanted my husband to come kill bugs when her husband wasn't home. She asked me to do things she could easily do for herself, like go grocery shopping. The final straw was when she woke me up at 2 a.m. saying, "So cold," and mumbling. I seriously thought something was wrong with her baby. I got up, woke my husband up, let him know, and ran over to her house, and I do mean ran. I ran into her house, door was unlocked, and choosing beggar was laying on the couch. She wasn't feeling good. She wanted me to get her a blanket from her upstairs closet. I finally lost my crap, and I told her I thought something was wrong with her baby. I was over it. I told her, "Choosing beggar, you are not to walk into our house without permission, and you are not to ask my husband for anything anymore. The only way it is ever okay to call me in the middle of the night ever again is because you need 911. Choosing Beggar just looked at me and said something about, since I'm here, can't I get the blanket, and that I'm being a horrible neighbor. I walked out of the house, went home, and went to bed. Moving forward, Choosing Beggar scowled at me every time she saw me and pointed at me and talked about me to her husband and other neighbors who told me later. Choosing Beggar's husband got orders and they finally moved. I was so happy because she made it uncomfortable being at my own home till she did. Okay, yeah, that just sounds like absolute hell to deal with. Oh, wow. Yeah, the only way to fix these problems is to be more assertive, and I'm glad OP here actually got around to doing that.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.